Hello again and welcome back. This is the segment of At the Table with Shirley. I'm Shirley Chancellor, pastor of Lighthouse Christian Church. And today's topic is don't put it down, put it up. Now, I've been having a little extra time lately and trying to do some cleaning. And as I walked into my apartment with my arms full, I noticed myself begin to look for a spot, any spot to put it down. And that is not what I should be doing. I should take it in and put it in its proper place where it belongs before I ever lay it down. It's amazing, isn't it, how cluttered and how quickly things become cluttered when we're not taking care of business, when we're not doing what we should be doing, when we should be doing it. And just things around the house is just a very good analogy of that, because before we know it, we have a whole day's work of house cleaning to do simply because we didn't take those few seconds, and that's all it takes, to put things away as we bring them in or as we use them. Just go ahead and put them where they belong. Don't leave them laying around on the counter or on the bed or whatever. But that is so much more true in our spiritual life, in our dealings with others. And there are so many scriptures that put that into perspective. One of them is Proverbs 6:4. And this is about talking about agreeing to do something. If you've given your word to do something, it says, don't put it off. Do it now. Don't rest until you do. Those are pretty strong words. If you've agreed to do something or made a commitment or made a pledge, don't procrastinate. I've used the statement several times lately that I heard from Bill Johnson when he said that delayed obedience is still disobedience. It's still disobeying the Lord and disobeying your nature. If we are born again Christians, we have Holy Spirit living within us and we have Christ living within us, and we're supposed to reflect what they would do. I can't see Jesus going in and just throwing things around and letting things get real cluttered and not taking care of business. Thank God he took care of business, right? Way back when he was walking this earth. In James 4:15-17, what you ought to say is, if the Lord wants us to, we will live and do this or that, whatever he wants us to do. I'm paraphrasing a little. Otherwise, you're boasting about your own pretentious plans, and all such boasting is evil. Remember, it is sin to know what you ought to do, and then you don't do it. And that's true in our life too. We need to be an example in every area of our life. A clean house, clean church, a clean, clean, taking care of business, keeping things in order where we're not embarrassed or ashamed anytime anyone might pop in. And I have been. I'm guilty. I'll have to admit that. And Luke 14:16-18 and 24, Jesus replied with this story. A man prepared a great feast and sent out many invitations. When the banquet was ready, he sent out his servants to tell the guests, come to the banquet, it's ready. But they all began making excuses. One said, I've just bought a field and must inspect it. Please excuse me. So that went on, and the person became very angry that the people he had planned coming to his feast did not come. They didn't show up. It was embarrassing, and it was humiliating. So verse 24, he goes on to say, he ended up sending his servants out to just call people off the street. Anyone, come eat free. It's okay. He just wanted to make sure the table was full. But in comparison, verse 24 says, for none of those I first invited will even get the smallest taste of my banquet. Wow. We want to be there at the marriage supper of the Lamb, don't we? So we need to be diligent in doing things that we're supposed to be doing in our personal life, in our spiritual life, on the job, walking through Walmart. Be very careful. In Colossians, this is the last one, 3:23 and 24. Work willingly at whatever you do, as though you're working for the Lord rather than for people. Remember that the Lord will give you an inheritance as your reward, and that the master you are serving is Christ. Even on your job, or whatever you're doing, you have to look at it like, I'm doing this for the Lord. I'm doing this for the Lord. I had someone tell me recently they were doing something that was really trying for them, and they were doing the right thing, but it's really taxing and really becoming a burden. And they said the Lord spoke to them so clearly and said, what you are doing is for me, not for the people you're serving. It's for me, which took the whole load off of them, totally put it in a different perspective. The Lord said, whatever you do for the least of these, you do for me. And that's true in our personal life, and the condition of our homes, and condition of our hearts is really what we're talking about, right? Take care of business. Do what it takes to feel good. When our lives are cluttered, when our homes are cluttered, it doesn't feel very well, does it? It's nice to go home when your house is clean. Well, it's nice to go before the Lord when your heart is clean. You can go with boldness. You can go with confidence. You can go knowing that He's going to listen to you, and that He's well pleased with you. And of course, He always loves us no matter what. But it's just so much better when we don't put things down. We put them up before Him. We take care of business. Anyway, thank you for joining me and for praying for me and supporting me. I just want you to know that I pray for you too, and I appreciate you, and I love you, and I will see you next time. Bye.